Hey guys, DMah from Martial Club coming at you from a place that is very near and dear to my heart. You guys might recognize the background. It's the location of many of my Instagram clips. This is where I come to train when I need to be alone, when there's a lot on my mind. But today I wanted to share the space with you guys to teach you a move called Backside 900. It's a fairly simple trick to learn, but it's very useful for tricking and has its function in screen fighting, because if you do it well with good martial arts technique, it can be a really flashy move. I hope that you guys will get a lot out of learning it. So first off, why is it called Backside 900? Well, you guys might have noticed a pattern in the numbering scheme in tricking. So far I've made tutorials for 540 and cheat 720, and this is 900. So if you notice, it goes up in increments of 180 degrees. And you might also notice that we're alternating inside kicks with outside kicks. 540 was an inside kick, 720 was an outside kick. So you might be able to guess that 900 is also an inside kick. 540 was a cheat kick, cheat 720 is a cheat kick, cheat 900, which I'll teach you on a later day, is also a cheat kick. This is called Backside 900 because it's a backside kick, meaning it's a trick that takes off from what's called the backside stance. You guys might notice in daily life, people are right-handed or left-handed. In combat sports, people are orthodox stance or southpaw stance. And in tricking, you either trick orthodox or you trick dark side, meaning you go the opposite way. In tricking, most people tend to trick linearly to the left. That's considered the orthodox side. But some people prefer to trick the other way. We call that dark side. Being left-handed doesn't necessarily mean that you fight southpaw. Just like being southpaw doesn't necessarily mean that you trick dark side in tricking. It's really just a matter of preference. What I do recommend is that when you start tricking, you learn all your tricks in one direction. So if you like to trick to the left, stay to the left. Learn all your tricks that way. That way you can learn to combo them and piece them together. And then when you get comfortable with it, then you can start learning to trick the other way. And try it out going the opposite way. You might find that it's more comfortable. If it's more comfortable, stick to that direction and see how much you can learn going in that direction. But like anything, there's always exception to the rule. So if you like to be creative and you like to learn things one way or the other, go for it. Just know that it might be a little difficult and it's definitely gonna call for more creativity on your end. Have friends from each camp, friends who trick the conventional way, people who trick dark side, and people who like to mix it up. And each one of them brings something special to the table. So go ahead and try it out. Just remember to be principled in whatever you do. Make sure you spend enough time with the fundamentals, learn the basics very well, and then mix and match at your leisure. I'm going to show you the backside stance. Conventional backside stance in tricking is similar to an orthodox stance in combat sports. That typically means you're standing with your right foot, which is usually going to be your driving foot, behind you. So back foot to the rear, left foot to the front. So at this point, basically you can throw an inside kick from backside stance. You're basically just switching your hips forward. So your right hip comes forward and you would immediately throw the inside kick. Probably going to be a round kick for this. So here is backside 540. The next trick in the progression would be backside 720. This is considered a trick, not super common, but it is helpful in certain situations. In this case, you would be switching your stance forward. Your right knee would drive forward, and from that position, you would throw a spinning hook kick mid-air. So you might notice that backside 720 has a similar aesthetic to cheat 720. For sure, it's not 720 degrees, and it doesn't even look like 720 degrees. But if you look carefully, it has the same mechanic. You're throwing your right foot forward, and when you're suspended in the air, that's the position you're throwing your outside kick from, in this case a spinning hook kick, and that's similar to a cheat 720. So in the same way, backside 900 will be similar to a cheat 900 in that it uses the same mechanics and therefore has the aesthetic of a 900 kick. So what do you need in order to learn a backside 900? There's a couple concepts that I want to introduce to you that'll make it a lot easier to process. The first one is called a twist kick chamber. So first off, this is what a twist kick looks like. Okay, so I talk a lot in terms of chambers. Chambering is when you bend your leg prior to the kick in order to build up kinetic strength to throw the kick. So basically, it's the bending of the knee that sets the trajectory of the kick, like this. Twist kick is not a very conventional kick. It is very flashy, but it is very difficult, and in regular martial arts, unless you practice Taekwondo, you probably won't be using it much, but this is what it looks like. You'll see twist kick in a lot of martial club films. That's because you see twist kick in a lot of Jackie Chan films. It's a very interesting kick, it's very tricky, and it's just an interesting way to use basic fundamentals of kicking in an unconventional way. The reason you want to learn a twist kick chamber is because chambering for a twist kick actually sets your hips in such a way that it makes it ideal for throwing a dynamic jumping roundhouse kick. So you'll notice the twist kick chamber actually comes into play for any tornado kick or tornado kick like movement. Basically any move where you're throwing a roundhouse kick in mid-air is going to use a twist kick chamber in order to set up the kick. The next concept I want to introduce is what I like to call shattering the glass. Imagine you're in a backside stance, and imagine there's a sheet of glass facing you and lining up with your center line. What I want you to do is when you throw your backside stance, or when you jump from backside stance and switch your hips forward, your right hip is swinging into this pane of glass. So when you do that switch, when you jump and spin from backside stance, I want you to imagine punching with your right hip through this pane of glass as powerfully as possible. I want you to shatter this pane of glass into a million pieces. What this does is it makes your jump spin explosive, and if you can sustain that body position, it'll get you more rotation when you're in mid-air. In order to do backside 900, this is what I want you to do. I want you to shatter the glass, and as you ride the momentum, I want you to do a twist kick chamber. So it looks something like this. And you'll notice if you shatter the glass and you do the twist kick chamber, it opens up your hips, makes it ideal to throw that right roundhouse kick. So you jump powerfully from backside stance, shatter the pane of glass, open up your hips with that twist kick chamber, and throw out the round kick. So guys, that was the backside 900. Fairly simple. It's still harder than, say, a tornado kick, harder than probably a 540 because it uses rotation that goes beyond 360 degrees. 900 connotes 900 degrees. In reality, the true spin of this technique is about 540 degrees, but it uses the aesthetic of a 900. This trick is really, really useful in tricking. You'll notice that a lot of tricks land you in the backside stance, and that means this trick can be fired right away once you land in that position. So it comes into play a lot in combos. It's perfect for extending the length of a combo, and if you do it well, it looks dynamic enough to be a flashy trick in and of itself. That being said, it's similar to a lot of other tricks like tornado kick, like cheat 900, like B-twist round. So having a good understanding of this trick sets you up nicely to learn all of those other tricks. And also you'll see this a lot in the movies because it's a dynamic move that doesn't take a lot of space and just introduces a lot of dynamic movement to the camera. So it's definitely worth it to learn and invest in this trick if you're a tricker, if you're a martial artist who wants to increase the versatility of his kick game, his or her kick game. And it's also very useful for screen fighting and all these other things. Definitely worth learning, and I feel like you'll get a lot of bang for your buck learning this move. You guys might have noticed that I've been putting up a lot of tricking tutorials on Martial Club's channel lately. Don't worry, eventually we'll start going back to the bread and butter, all the stuff you like to see, the dynamic fight scenes and the topical videos and what have you. This is part of my taking you with me on my martial arts journey. I'm in a new phase of life, and I'm devoting a lot of my time to training and just upping my skill sets as a martial artist and as a filmmaker. So bear with me and come with me and learn what I learn as I learn it, and hopefully you'll get something out of this. As usual, if you like this video and you like more of it, be sure to leave a comment below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to Martial Club, follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and always, always train. I've been DMah, this has been Martial Club. You guys have been awesome, and see you on the next video.